Hello and welcome to another What Sold video. This is everything that sold for me from June 8th to June 14th. We're actually starting with Etsy because I had Etsy sales, which is always very exciting when I get sales on a platform that is not eBay, because eBay is my main bay, but it's nice to not have all of my eggs in the proverbial basket. So I'm going to scoot over here, and the first item is this pair of LA Blues shorts. I bought these at the Dav in Gloucester. These did require a little tender love and care because of the fact that unfortunately they smelled, I shouldn't say smelled, they reeked of smoke, cigarette smoke. So it did take a while to get them aired out and cleaned up to where that was no longer an issue. Fortunately, they are 100% cotton, so that's actually really easy to do. But it sold for $13.50 and I paid $4 for these at that Dav. And I'm just so glad that they finally sold over on Etsy because I've had these for probably 3 years. Yeah. Miss Moxie has decided to join us. Everybody say hello to the cute baby face. You'll probably see her and or hear her throughout the video. I will try to keep her modesty intact, but you know, she's a little bit of a show off. This next item, when it's sold, made me so happy because this is one of the items from that big vintage buyout I did, where I basically bought 400 pieces of vintage clothing from one person at one estate sale, and I paid $100 for it. So 25 cents per piece. And the item that sold is this Pendleton piece. It's from the 80s. And it sold for $50. In my Etsy store, anything that sells for over $35 is free shipping, but this easily fit in a padded flat rate mailer, so it costs less than $9 for me to ship this. And again, I have 25 cents into this. So to make $40 off of this sale is amazing. And I wouldn't have been able to make this sale without Vendoo. I have been using Vendoo for the last year. I've been using the free version of Vendoo for the last year. And I have recently upgraded to the paid version of Vendoo, and Vendoo is kindly sponsoring this portion of the video. It is a cross-listing platform, and it is the only cross-listing platform that has auto sales detection. It auto detects sales on all the platforms as a cross-listing service. I feel like that's a must since you're cross-posting to so many sites. But their auto sale detection works on eBay, Poshmark, Depop, Mercari, and whatnot, which is amazing. It started out with 2 and now it's got 5. In addition to that, it also is the only one with an app, and I use the app because I only live at my house half the time. I'm able to use the app when I'm out and about sourcing, or I'm at the boys' house to cross post, and it's been a game changer for me, and I am so excited to see, now that I've upgraded to the paid service, how many more sales I can make on platforms other than eBay and how much this can grow my business. Again, I did use this service for over a year before I decided to upgrade, and their free service got me this sale. So I definitely feel like it's worth giving Vendoo a try. You get 5 free listings every single month with the free version. And if you decide you like it, you can always upgrade it anytime to one of their paid tiers. Or if you just want to jump right in and immediately level up your game, you can use my link down below and in a pinned comment in the description to get 25% off your first month. So thank you so much to Vendoo for sponsoring this portion of the video, and also for getting me these amazing sales on Etsy, because that definitely made this week stand out to me, in addition to what I'm going to share with you now over on eBay. So Miss Moxie, you're going to have to move for me. Thank you, baby girl. Just scooch you over here. First few items I'm sharing with you are actually big thank yous to Melissa, because these are all free items that she gifted to me to resell. This is a Columbia pair of shorts. I think she might have gifted these to me to see if I could wear them, but they were a little bit too big. They were too big in the waist, and then they pancaked my butt. So fail on 2 fronts. But they sold for $10.94, and again, Melissa, thank you. This Talbus Pete's is another gift from Melissa. It sold for my full asking price of $24.87, even with the typo that I didn't even notice until I screenshotted this. You can see it was %% cashmere. Ridiculous. But it's still sold, and it sold pretty much as soon as I listed it for $24.87, so cashmere sweaters will still sell even though it's super hot outside in the middle of summer. Cashmere is awesome. Also, this new Natural Life Sunny Day hat, I put Ditzy Floral in there, and as a gardening hat. You know, it was new with tags still, so thank you so much, Melissa, and it sold for $12.65. This was an offer I sent out to watchers. I can't remember if Melissa gifted this to me or if I found this at a thrift store. So, Melissa, if you remember and you did give this to me, thank you. Because this pair of 80s Ocean Pacific shorts sold for $29.87. Now, I know Ocean Pacific is now sold at Walmart, but it used to be a really renowned surfwear brand, but you know, that happens. You know, Starter used to be a super amazing brand that literal kids would get mugged for their jackets in the 90s, but it is now a brand sold at Walmart, so, and everybody has access to it, which is both great, but also means that new Starter doesn't sell for as much, just like new Ocean Pacific doesn't really resell well either. But the vintage stuff does sell well, and you can see it's bright, it's beautiful, it's colorful. Absolutely amazing piece. Again, sold for $29.87. So I either paid $4 for this or I paid nothing for this. I just can't remember and I'm sorry. This is a FootJoy piece. I've had this for 2 years now and it finally sold. I've calmed down quite a bit on the FootJoy pieces, these basic golf pieces. They just don't move for me like they used to a long time ago. But this did sell for $11.90 and I paid $5 for it at a thrift store. The story behind this next item is that I was at the bins, as I do, and looking through the books, and there were several Amazon FBA sellers at the bins this day. It was one of those days where there were 8 bins of books, which always means it's going to be a good day, but also a long day for me when I'm there. And I saw an Amazon FBA seller pick this up. And when they're picking it up, they're literally picking it up to scan the barcode and then throwing it back. Well, I was on the other side of the bin. And so when they picked this book up, I got to see the front, which said that it was a signed hardcover. It said autographed copy. Big sticker on the front. The Amazon FBA seller did not see that because they were only concerned with the barcode. So they scanned the barcode, looked at the numbers, threw it back. I immediately reached across and grabbed it and put it in my cart underneath other books because I knew what this book was. This is The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. It is a Pulitzer Prize winning book. This particular copy was a first edition signed hardcover by her. I could not believe that this Amazon FBA, well, I could, because most of them only, they're very metrics and numbers based, and it's a volume thing where they're trying to make their margins. So I do get it. It's can be a very lucrative business to run. They also miss out on a lot of books because they only rely on what their scanner is telling them and not necessarily what the book is telling them. Literally telling it. It said signed copy on the front. So I sold this book, as you can see, for $100. So this Amazon FBA seller missed out on a $100 sale because they only scanned the barcode and didn't take the 2 seconds to turn the book around to see that it was a signed copy. Although, to be fair, even if they turned around and saw that it was a signed Pulitzer Prize winning book, they may not have known that it was worth $100, but I did. So this was an amazing sale. When I first listed this, it was around December, so Christmas time. And I thought maybe it would have been given as a gift. I did get quite a few lowball offers for this book when I first listed it, but I did know that the solds indicated that it would sell for at least $100, so I countered them or just straight up declined them if they kept offering me like even incremental amounts. Anyway, whenever I have an item that gets a lot of lowball offers when I first list it, I know it's going to sell for what I want it for, so I held out, and that proved to be a good idea. Another amazing bins book find, or finds I should say, because it's, as you can see, a bunch of books. This is 29 of the 40 book volume set. So even though this isn't complete, it's still sold for my full asking price of $44.87, and this is one of the instances which the buyer paid for shipping. Most of my books are free shipping, except for these larger lots of books that are going to be very heavy, and in this instance, most of the time it is better to sell the books at a lower price and then have the buyer pay for shipping, because that they understand that that's what they're paying for. Again, I do my research before I decide to do that. But you can see here, this is also one of the instances which I did a stylized shot. For these vintage volume sets, I will always do a stylized shot as the first shot. This is at the boys' house. I cleaned off the entire mantle, cleaned the mantle, made it look pretty, which, you know, needed to be done anyway. So that way I could put this shot together, and I do feel like that helped, because this literally sold within 30 days of me listing it, which for vintage incomplete sets is a pretty fast sell-through. So somebody paid literally $60 exactly to ship this set of books. I didn't realize that until just now. I was like, they paid exactly $60 for this set. And my buy cost was $14.50. So because it's 50 cents per book and there's 29 books, maths. But to have that quick of a turnaround and make a $30 profit, I think is amazing. Another bins find, this is Boundless. This is the third book in a series. I sold it for a full asking price of $7.87. If this did not sell, I could have easily flipped this to Second and Charles and gotten a store credit and found something more valuable, but I saw that it was selling pretty well on eBay, and it did sell pretty soon after I listed it. Another bins finds, but a pair of kids shoes. I've been picking up more kids stuff lately. Still very nominal percentage of my business, but these were in really good shape considering they are kids Vans, and I paid $3 for these at the bins, and they sold for $12.87. This is a pair of joggers. I actually picked these up initially for myself, but they were too big in the hips. They were too big up top. They were long enough, but they were too big. But it sold for $11, and again, I picked these up at the bins, so that was an easy sell for me. This is Duluth Trading Company. I've had these for a year, so I probably paid like $6 for these, and they sold for $15. Duluth is a very good bread and butter brand for me, and I also had picked these up in hopes that they would fit me. They were too big and too short, so it was a double whammy on those. I've talked about before how much I love buying and selling linen pieces. Tahari is one of my favorite brands, but Tommy Bahama is also pretty decent for linen, for men's and for women's. This is a women's piece in a size medium, sold for $13.50. This is a diversity pickup. I picked this up for $1 during their power hour. It's a Lands' End piece. It's a 3X. Put this up on Whatnot. Didn't sell on Whatnot, but it did sell on eBay for $15.19. This is a book I reviewed on my book channel. This is The Strange Bird by Jeff Vandermeer. I did not realize that this, even though it literally says it on the book, that this is a subsidiary novel. One of Jeff Vandermeer's more popular novels, Born. After reading the book, TLDR, I enjoyed the book. This book made me want to read Born. I do have a copy of Born already. I just haven't had the time to read it yet. But this sold for $7.08, and I not only paid 10 cents for it because I got this in that big book buyout that I did, but I got to read it. I got to review it on my channel. And then I got to sell it and make a profit. So wins all the way around for me. Another bins find, this is Back to Basics. So this is a book without a barcode, so it's not scannable by Amazon FBA sellers. And this is a book all about how to basically homestead, how to build your own house, how to do solar, how to make a well with a pump. Has a lot of homesteading, self-sufficiency. It's literally a book of all of that. This sold for $15.87. This is a great sell-through rate, but the original one. I actually had bought two of these. I bought the revised edition, and then I bought this one. The older one sold first, even though they both have the same information in them. So not quite sure why, but I made 10 bucks off of this, so I'm very happy with that. This is a Sag Harbor piece. I've talked about how I love selling vintage knitwear. It does sell for me. I paid $1 for this at an estate sale, and it sold for $8. Again, not a big amount of profit, but when I'm at an estate sale, and it's one of those estate sales where there's obviously too much stuff and they're not going to be able to sell it all, I will throw stuff like this into my bundle to get a better deal overall. So that is one of the strategies I use when I'm out at estate sales. This is a par 4 golf polo. I picked this up 100% based on the style. It sold for $13.50. This is a piece I picked up. I honestly don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember where I picked this up at, but I probably paid around $4 or $5 for it. This is a patch. I sold it for my full asking price of $6.87. I held on to these patches for 5 years at this point. I paid $1 for each patch. They just this year started selling. So it was getting to the point where I was like, this was a bad buy. I should donate this. Whenever I have that thought, the thing sells. So maybe I should just have that thought about all of my stuff and I will magically sell out. That's not going to happen, but you get what I mean. Another bins book. This is the Engine 2 cookbook. This actually has an amazing sell-through rate on eBay. It sold for my full asking price of $11.87. This is a vegan vegetarian cookbook. So that is why this sold really well. This is actually an international sale. I will pick up Toni Morrison books when I find them in good shape because they do sell for me. If they are in new condition like this one was, they will sell for full asking price. Otherwise, if they are pre-owned and in good condition, I will make lots of 3 and sell them that way. And I've also had success with that for Toni Morrison. This is Sula by Toni Morrison, and this was an international sale through the global shipping program. So this was great, and I picked this up at that big book buyout, so I have 10 cents into this book. I haven't gotten to wave my stick at you guys in a while. So this is exactly what I sold. I bought a big box of this contact paper in many different styles, thinking that I was going to make so much money off of them because I saw something on TikTok and then I got fed some stuff on YouTube and thought that like this is renter friendly, like DIY, making your space your own. That's what its intent is for, not just what it is now, like how your grandma used it, which is to line the drawers. But this stuff didn't start selling until a year and a half after I bought it. So I was beginning to think I made a huge mistake because I invested like $100 into this stuff. But when it started selling, it's been selling consistently for me. And yes, I now have made quite a bit of money from these. And so it is no longer a, oh my God, I made a mistake buy. It is actually a good buy. But I sold 1 roll of this for $9.87, my full asking price. And again, I'm just grateful that that was a good investment. So this is Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. I will pick up Ender's Game in good condition whenever I find it. They all sell for me. The trade paperback editions like this one do sell faster for me, but it does always sell. I have sold this exact book like 3 or 4 times at this point. This sold for my full asking price of $7.87, and I will continue to pick up Ender's Game, another book that I've reviewed on my book channel. Really enjoyed. It is a Nebula Award winner for a reason, and one that has been made into movies and shows for a reason. This is a Wild Fable, which is a Target brand, but it was new at tags. I found this at the bins. I put it up for sale on Whatnot. It didn't sell on Whatnot, but it did sell on eBay for a total of $10. I probably have less than $1 into this skirt, and really cool that I can make money off of a Target brand. This is The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. This is considered a classic work of American fiction, which is why I picked it up by itself because it was a really nice edition trade paperback. It sold for $6.87. I paid 25 cents for this at the bins. I would pick this up if it's in good condition pretty much any time because even if it's not one that would sell well by itself like this one, I could still put it in like required reading or summer reading a lot and it would sell that way. I also pick up vintage copies of Black Beauty whenever I find them, or hardcover editions of Black Beauty when I find them, because they sell well for me. They consistently sell, depending on the book, between, you know, $7 to $20. There are people out there that collect Black Beauty. I do have a viewer that does that, and that makes me smile whenever I see a copy of Black Beauty because I think of you. Sold for $13.87, and I have 50 cents into this book. Another book from that big book buyout. I have 10 cents into this book. Sold for $10. This is The Seven Madmen by Roberta Arlt. I am so sorry. I don't know anything about this book. I just saw that it was a new book, and I was buying things for 10 cents, so I figured it would sell. And it did. This is another thank you to Melissa. It's a pair of Levi's 505s. I've talked about how 505s do sell really well for me, so I will pick them up at the bins, either men's or women's, if they're in decent condition and or trendy. Like the light wash is what I mean by trendy. Like light wash and distressed is what I mean by trendy. This is a pair of 34-36, so a tall size, and it sold for my full asking price of $16.87. So Melissa, thank you so much. I used to get really excited when I found Denim and Supply. I haven't found it in a while, actually. I would still probably get excited if I found Denim and Supply and men's, but the women's Denim and Supply has not moved if it is not one of the Southwest Aztec patterns. Basic pieces like this flannel, it took forever to sell. It took over a year to sell. This sold for $16. I paid $6 for this at the thrift store. Another bin's find, I paid 25 cents for this. This surprised me. I've talked about before how I will pick up brand new journals at the bins all the time. I find them all the time at the bins. Because it was a brand new journal, I decided to give it a shot. I was floored that this sold as soon as I listed it for $6.99. Somebody sent me an offer. I immediately accepted because I have 25 cents into this book. And again, this was something that I wasn't sure would sell at all. So I was pleasantly surprised by this book. But this is a journal where a mom and daughter will be able to like write back and forth. And I'm so sorry that the landscapers are doing things again. I was trying to film between their break, but apparently their break did not last very long. So if you can hear the I'm so sorry. $6.99. This is Star Wars The Crystal Star by Vonda McIntyre, and I just wanted to show you that I sold this for my full asking price of $5.87. And you're like, how in the world are you making any money selling a book for $5.87 with free shipping on eBay? Well, I've said multiple times on this channel that the reason why I'm doing this is because I have the buy 3 get 1 free, and I always price my books to where I will still make money, and I'm going to prove it to you by showing you this. So this is from eBay. This is from this sale on eBay. You can see item subtotal $5.87. Person paid for sales tax. Sales tax gets taken out. The transaction fee is $1.15 and the shipping label is $4.13. Order earnings is 59 cents. If I paid 25 cents for this book, I still made a profit of 34 cents, which is technically more than double my original investment into this book. Now, the prices have changed for Media Mail as mid-July, so I am slowly upping my price that amount, so that way I will continue to make a profit. If you see on eBay people selling books, like I think Thrift Books is one of the top sellers on eBay in America, they're selling paperback books for $3.13, which is, if someone buys a book from them for $3.13, they are losing money. But those are considered loss leaders in business, where that is to draw you in to buy other stuff. So for them, I think their coupon is if you buy like 3 or 4 books, you get 10% off or something. So they're hoping by offering a lower price and offering a lot of books that you will take advantage of that, so that way they end up actually making money instead of losing money because you're buying more than one book. I don't have that volume or employees to do that or process that, so I'm offering my books at a higher price, but then again, I'm also taking photographs of my books so you can see the exact condition, which they don't do. That is always a crapshoot when you order stuff from Thrift Books. Not to disparage their business model, because obviously they're doing fine since they're one of the top eBay sellers of books in the United States. But I'm just saying, I'm still making money. This is me proving that I'm still making money. And yes, I have started to change my prices to take into account the price raise in July from the USPS. This is a Nike Dry Fit piece. This is another piece gifted to me by Melissa, sold for $8.88. This is a Hasbro Magic the Gathering shirt. I got this at the bins. Super surprised none of the t-shirt bros picked it up. Super surprised it didn't sell on Whatnot when it offered it on Whatnot, but it did sell on eBay pretty soon after I listed it for $7.90. So this was great. This is a Garnet Hill piece. I picked this up at a thrift store for $5. It's 100% linen. Garnet Hill is a catalog brand, kind of like Sundance. Sold for $29.87, and so that was a great sale. And I also have Melinda from Tailored and Teal to thank for this, because of the fact that I had no idea that Garnet Hill was a brand worth looking at until she left a comment on one of my videos when I showed that I'd passed on a bunch of it, because it looked like nothing to me and I didn't look it up. So Melinda, thank you. Another piece I picked up on Style alone at the bins. It didn't sell on Whatnot, but it did sell on eBay for $8, and I picked this up purely because I knew we were going into summer season. Vintage book I picked up at the bins for 25 cents. This is Midway. It's a little history paperback about this battle during World War II. Sold for $7.87. This actually took a long time to sell. This I picked up at the CHKD by my house. It sold for $29.50. If you see this little cat, this gray cat, the cat's name is Kilben, or the artist's name is Kilben. I don't know, whenever I see this cat, I buy this shirt, because while some of them do move slow, they do always sell for over $25. I have bought and sold Kilben t-shirts. This is the second time I did. Or if you see any tags that say crazy shirt. Crazy shirt tags normally also mean they're vintage and they sell well as well. So again, and it was also a great size, so I'm surprised it took over a year to sell, but it sold for $29.50 and I paid $3 for this shirt at that CHKD. And the last item is again a book. This is a brand new Love by D.H. Lawrence. D.H. Lawrence is a classic literary figure. I paid 10 cents for this at that big book buyout, and it sold for my full asking price of $10.87. But again, that is everything that sold for me the second week in June. Big shout out to Melissa again for all of your donations into my business. Shout out to Melinda for telling me about Garnet Hill. And of course, a big shout out to Vendoo for sponsoring a portion of this video. Again, if you guys are interested in upping your cross-listing game and hopefully getting more sales on more platforms, I will put a link in a comment down below as well as in the description. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Also, thank you to Miss Moxie for being bestest baby. We will see you guys in the next video. Until then.